even more assumptions and definitions and such that we must make, generalizations essentially, in order to model choices that people and firms make. One thing we have to talk about is costs, and you can see we have different forms of costs here that we're going to discuss. Um, in general, cost is what you must give up to get something. Okay. Now we, yeah, that's a very general term because, you know, the way it's written, it may or may not be measurable, but we tend to think that costs are measurable. Just like in the last video, where we where we make the assumption that benefits are measurable. We generally want to think costs are measurable as well. And costs really come in um, two primary categories, and then one category that kind of comes from this second area right here. The first cost type of cost that we'll discuss is a sunk cost. Now, you know, economists typically don't, we don't put sunk costs in our models typically, and the reason is because they're irretrievable. And they don't factor into our day-to-day consumption and production decision-making process. The best way to explain this is by an example. Uh, uh, for instance, assume a chemical plant wants to, a chemical company wants to build a production facility down the road from your house. Well, one thing that's going to have to occur is that the chemical company is going to have to they're going to be required to conduct an environmental impact study of the area. In other words, they're going to have to prove to the local government that the impact their facility is going to have on the environment is not going to result in harming the water supply, harming the wildlife in the area, etc. Now the study may cost, it could cost millions of dollars to do this study. And the study could come back negative. In other words, the chemical company could spend millions of dollars on this environmental impact study just for the study to come back and say, no, if you build a plant here, it's gonna cause irreparable harm to the surrounding environment, and therefore you are not going to be allowed to build a plant here. In other words, before the company even produces its first unit of output, they can't even build, they can't even prepare to produce the first unit of output. They're already shut down before they can even build the facility to produce the first unit of output. Now let's take this the other direction, however. Assume that the environmental impact study comes back and it is deemed safe to build a production facility there, and the local government gives the go ahead and all that good stuff. So the chemical company builds the plant and starts producing chemicals out of that plant. What I mean is that this cost will not play a decision in the day-to-day production. The company will never try to recoup that expense. In other words, they will never try to increase the price of their product in order to recoup the money that was used to produce the environmental impact study. It is sunk. They simply forget about it. It does not play a role in their optimal output level decision, in their optimal resource input decision, resource allocation for inputs in the manufacturing process. It doesn't play a role in any of that. It's simply sunk money. It's gone. On the other hand, there's this type of cost called an opportunity cost. And an opportunity cost, defined as the value of the next best thing given up. The next best thing given up to get something. So, for instance, you go to work in the morning. Okay, that is a conscious decision that you made. That is a day-to-day decision that you made. Now, what did you give up to go to work? Well, you could have stayed in bed. That's worth something. Okay, that would be an opportunity cost of going to work. You decide to go to college rather than join the workforce. Well, the opportunity cost of going to college would be the income that was foregone in that you could have made had you not gone to college and you went to work instead. So the opportunity cost of going to college would be the foregone income that you would have had you simply gone out and gotten a job. So the decision, the day-to-day decision that you made to go to college, the opportunity cost of that decision is factored into your decision to go to college. Okay, so opportunity cost really is the cost of pretty much everything we do. Again, resources are scarce. There's only so much time in a day. We can either go to college or we can go to work. So the opportunity cost, that is the primary cost that we deal with in some shape, form, or fashion throughout the remainder of these microeconomic lectures, because those are the ones that play a direct role in our day-to-day decision-making process. Finally, there's this concept of marginal cost. Okay, so if we think of total cost of all decisions that we make, okay, the total cost of a decision is the opportunity, or can be measured in terms of the opportunity cost of that decision. Well, the change in the total cost with the consumption of one more unit or activity is called the marginal cost. Again, sequentially, unit by unit, that's what we're thinking, on the margin. Okay, so the change in total cost with the consumption of one extra unit of a good, or pursuing one extra activity, that is the marginal cost of that activity. So you go out and you play a round of golf. The cost of that first round of golf is the marginal cost of playing golf. You play an extra round. So you finish your first round of golf, and you decide to stay for a little while longer and play another round of golf. Okay, assume that each round of golf costs $50. Okay, so you play the first round of golf. The marginal cost of that first round is $50. Okay, but you stay for a second round. It costs you another $50. Your total cost of playing golf that day is $100. But the cost of the second round, in other words, the marginal cost of that second round, the change in the total cost of playing both rounds, is $50. Okay, that's the marginal cost of that second round. Okay, and it is the marginal cost concept, along with the marginal benefit concept, that plays a critical role in all decisions that we make.